If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to the Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
What's up, good people? BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z, sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews, you name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Back on the Bossman Show, Coach Mark Mitchell, Wilberforce Bulldogs, Wilberforce, Ohio, doing this out of NAI. You see him with that nice shirt back there. Coach Mitch, how you doing, my brother?
Man, so far so good. You know, always in a grind mode, grinding not to wear down, but grinding to build. So, you know, every day is a new day. Every day is an opportunity to put another brick in that foundation so we can build something that's, you know, really worthy and strong.
And folks who don't know this, Coach is also the cross-country coach of Wilberforce, too. He's double duty in basketball and cross-country. So
Coach,
you know
how that is. That's at HBCU, small level HBCU. You got to plug in the holes where you can.
No doubt. Coach, how is that, man, trying to go from basketball to cross-country? How is that trying to keep them both, without getting your wires crossed on both of them? How is that, man?
Well, for us, it's great. And I'll tell you why. Because our style of play requires you to be in the best shape possible. And the way that we train allows us to simultaneously train for any event that we're in, and then mainly cross country. Our young people this past weekend, this past Friday, they really did well in the Wright State event, and they competed. And they competed ahead of a lot of other teams who that's their whole focus. And we train to compete, and we train to be in great strength and great condition. And all 5 of our guys did really, really well.
And Coach Mitch, let me ask you this, man. Taking a job in Mr. COVID, man, how tough was that in 2020? Taking a job in the middle of COVID, not knowing what's going on, people are pretty much shut down. So I was trying to build a program and a roster and find guys in the middle of a pandemic like that.
Well, I tell you what, it's because I'm an educator by trade. So what happens is when things go the other way, you pivot, and you're able to pivot just like you were making a lesson plan and things went south in the classroom. You got to make a pivot. Well, for us, it was a great pivot. I'm going to be honest with you, because we didn't have to prepare to play games. All we were able to do was prepare to build culture. And that was the best thing ever for us. That's why I would like to think that we are where we are today, because we took that time instead of worrying about playing or who we had or what this looked like or how that was going to be. We just worried about building culture and getting the right young people in our culture so that we could build a great foundation, and the foundation that we have to this day.
No doubt, Coach. Like I said, sometimes people try to look at records, and I'm like, and you can't look at records sometimes because you don't know what the circumstance is. Being ABCU myself, say I understand. Sometimes circumstances don't allow you. Just you can go play buy games and travel all over the country to raise money.
Right.
It's like it's not so black and white as the record.
That's true.
You understand what's behind that record. And I feel like
true.
sometimes ABCU schools, the coaches get the short end of the stick because you have to go play for money and get your head beat in non-league.
Yeah.
And then you look. Come on, you know what time of day it was. But they use it against you, coach. They want to get rid of you.
Yeah. They ask you to go get the money, raise the money. You get your head cracked, you the sacrificial lamb. The next thing you know, you out of there. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, it's crazy though. It really is.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. But like I tell people, you have to, in this business, you have to make it really central about one thing, and that's going to always be about the young people. And the more you make it about them and less about everybody else's narrative, you got a shot, because you'll start to really invest in the people that you need. You'll invest in them to the point where you build such a relationship that relationship will manifest itself in a lot of different ways, from on the court, when you're in ball games, from tough situations after the ball game, from eating, you're out in a facility eating, and if you got really good people and you're invested in them, they'll reciprocate that by demonstrating different things to you on the court. When things get tough, they'll fight through it. They'll do the things that you need them to do, and then they'll really surprise you, because some things that they may have not demonstrated prior to, they'll do it because you've invested in them. You get out in the community, guess what? They'll show you what you've invested in. Our guys, I never forget, we were on a trip, and when we travel, we're different from a lot of times in that southern HBCU to the northern HBCU, because we don't play against a lot of HBCUs. We play against a lot of the, PWIs or WIs. We play against a lot of them. So when we go and we're traveling places where we got to sit and eat. And it's so funny to watch, the Caucasian community react to us when we come in and sit down. And they get to talking to our guys and they go, "Oh my." And I'm like, "What did you think you were going to get?" we ain't in the zoo. Our guys are good guys. So you'll be surprised when you watch them manifest the things that you poured into them, you'll be really surprised with that. But that all comes from the investment that you make into them.
No doubt. Like I know some of them, like you said, we go to some cities like Murray, uh, Richmond,
Yeah.
Kentucky, and
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you feel so like I'll tell you a story. Like we played East Tennessee State, right?
Yeah.
We on the town square, coach. they called the 5 over us, the 12s over us, bro.
That's it.
We're the town square. We ain't doing nothing.
Hey, man, because they're afraid of the congregation. When you start to bring that group together, either there's going to be great momentum moving forward or there's going to be some foolishness going on. But they don't realize that Black folks know how to act, and Black folks, when we congregate the fellowship with one another, not to come and cause mischief and mayhem.
Yeah, that's not our nature as African people like that. We're here to have a community and be
right.
Have one that's like it happened in 06, coach. I ain't forgot it. Like we on the town square, John C. is chilling.
Yeah.
I guess it was 200 too many of us.
200 too many of you. You're right. That's what it is. Hey man, what they say, Johnny Law, you got to know your plate.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Man, I'm like, what we doing? But now you correct in that.
Yes, sir. And coach, let me ask you, man, for your guys, and as you look at a player want to brunch on your program, what do you look for them in the character off the court, not so much on the court, but look for the young man when you talk to his parents to see what he's about, to be fit your coach for the integrity piece, intelligence piece, and just being about the team and being about the right things.
Well, and it's interesting you asked that question because I get this a lot because I was fortunate to have coached at Ohio State. So when I was at Ohio State, the one thing that, everybody talks about is the brand. And you have to be able to recruit to the brand because you want people to be able to respect the brand, to build the brand, to move the brand. So because most of the time your first introduction to a young person is watching them on the court. And watching them on the court, if you get caught up in watching them score and different things like that, you'll miss a lot of the signs. So one of the first things I look for when I watch kids play, I look for if they can pass. If you can pass, it tells me a lot about you. It tells me that A, you have a really good feel for the game. B, you have a good understanding of how to deliver the ball on time and on target. But C, more importantly, that tells me you don't mind playing with that other person. Then when things go south on the court, you watch them walk off the court. And you watch the interaction. Let's say something as tricky has happened, coach subbed out. Kid could walk off the court one or two ways, embracing the fact that my teammate coming in and I can't worry about that. I got to stay focused on what my job is. And, I made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. And we keep it moving. And you watch that interaction with the coach and the team members on the bench. If that's a really good interaction, you got a shot. So that tells me, A, kid wants to do it the right way. B, kid has a really good IQ for the game. C, when they start walking off the court, they have a really good interaction. Okay, bingo. So now that lets me know that we can take this a step further. So then what you start to do is you start to build your circle around the kids that you're recruiting. Okay, that took care of that piece. So now you start to get into the school realm. And the first couple of people I've always went to talk to is A, the janitor, B, the music teacher, C, the cafeteria worker. The janitor, because the janitor always sees everybody in the hallway. B, the music teacher, nobody likes to go to music class. They go to music class and they cutting up. So when that person walks in that music, how are they? In something that may not even mean anything to them. They go into that class, in that particular music class, and they go, wow. And if they're in there doing what needs to be done, that tells me a lot about how they're going to be in class and how they're going to approach the academic piece. And then when you get to talking to the cafeteria worker, you find people when they're at their most vulnerable is when they're eating because they're most relaxed. They're in a good environment. So how do they play that? Are they in a good situation to the point where they are eating and congregating and dealing with life, or are they eating, congregating, and they the life of the party on the tables in and out of different conversations all over the place. You get that when you get that person, you got to watch that because they're going to be like that when they get there away from you. So that's kind of how we do that, and that's kind of how I do it and start to build that because our brand, like Ohio State's brand, worth $590 million. Our brand might be only worth $20 over at Wilberforce, but it's still our brand, and you got to learn to respect that.
Yeah, Coach, you might not would have took me, Coach. I was playing spades and throwing dice at the lunch table. You might not would have took me, Coach. I was throwing dice and playing spades, man.
Hey, man, and trust me on that. And everything has its place. And let's say you got your guys and everybody, we in between, moves and, everything's kind of calm and they playing spades as a team, I'm cool with that. I ain't got no problem with that. That's just what it is. Now shooting the dice thing, I always got a little issue with because of my history of growing up and some of the things I watched in the streets. I always got an issue with that. But, I allow them to be themselves when it's time for them to be themselves. But I get you on that though.
Yeah, we were there. Like I ain't gonna lie, we were shooting dice and she was playing spades at the table, doing beats. I was making beats and rapping on the time. That was the crew I ran with, Coach. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was my crew.
Hey, and I ain't mad at you because that was mine too. But I had to, for me to move the way that I need to move, I had to make a decision. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach, man, like, for you, man, what point, I know you're educated by trade, so let me ask you, so what point in your journey decided you want to get the coaching? I know my dad's a coach, and,
right.
I see where he goes. He's in his 80s, and his players still hit him up all the time, and they taking baby showers and weddings, stuff like that, because of his players. So for you, like, what point in your journey you decided you want to get in coaching, make this your life's path, Coach Mitch?
Well, the interesting thing, when I was at Eastern Kentucky, I was a really, really good offensive lineman. A lot of things were going my way. And a reporter one day asked me, if you weren't going to play football and let's say football was over with, what is it that you wanted to do? Well, because I watched my mom and dad in education, my uncle in education, I've always said this. I wanted to be able to go to the inner city and make a huge impact on young African American kids. That was always one of my deals because I felt the investment that people made in me because I was going the wrong way. But I had a white coach, man, in my high school invest in me, and he essentially changed who I am. And he called me out on some things. And, in a way that, that you would never get a white coach maybe to call you out. And you realize that, hey, maybe I do need to make some adjustments. And as my journey moved forward, I never lost sight on, giving back and helping kids and making their life a lot better and giving them some in-depth knowledge that would give them a distinct advantage. And let me tell you this, it's funny because, the pro football thing, I played a little bit. I didn't play as long as I thought I should have. So football, I was so disgruntled with football when I got done. I didn't even coach football. I had a GA ship to go to Florida State when Charlie Ward and them won the national championship. I was going down there to be a GA, but I was so mad because my pro career didn't last as long as I wanted it to. I gave up on football. I didn't want to coach football. I started coaching junior high basketball. I'm sweeping floors, making sure the lights on and doing those different things. And as chance would happen, I get to some opportunities, and I literally go on like interviews. I'm a runner-up in different interviews 19 times. I'm literally a runner-up 19. Me and another guy 19 times at the high school level. On job number 20, God opens a door, and I go through that door. And if the teenage murder rate was higher than the teenage graduation rate, they were a failing school. They had no resources. They had been 0-22. They were 0-21 the year before we got there. 1-20 the year before that. 2-something the year before that, and hadn't won a game the year before that. So the first year we get there, we go 22-3. And people say, what was the turnaround? Well, a lot of people will think it's me. And I said, no, it's the kids, because the kids decided, they made up in their mind that, okay, this is what he came in, this is what he's preaching, and I'm in with that. And we're going to follow this. And from there, I had a really, really successful high school career. And that matriculated into me building some relationships that end up putting me in a position to get to Ohio State, which allowed me to build further relationships that put me in a position to make impacts on young people. And one of the relationships that I had cultivated put me in a position to be here at Wilberforce. So doing all of that and opening all those doors allowed me to be able to live a life's passion in terms of really developing young people, African American kids, to be able to be prepared for what's next. Because a lot of the coaching that I've been through has been at the really high level. So giving that back to them and then watching them take that, that's all that matters to me. That's really all that matters to me. And watching them grow and watching them develop, and then them come back and say, man, Coach Mitch, man, I appreciate that. Call me at 3 a.m, Coach Mitch, man, it's tough. And we talk about some things, baby showers, birthdays, like I told my guys when we were in high school, I said, man, I'm tired of going to funerals. Man, can we just go to a wedding? Let me come to a wedding. I want wedding cake. I don't want to go to the repast and eat that chicken. I want to give me some wedding cake. Let's do that instead of, burying people all the time. Let's do some of the things that are enjoyable in life. And as we talked about that, they gravitated to those things, and we were able to move them forward from there.
Yeah, Coach, I'm almost 40. So the things I learned in Tennessee State, they make sense to me now, being almost 40. Now, I said, Coach, I said, I'm sorry. I was a knucklehead from the west side of Atlanta. I wasn't listening to you, but now the things that haven't been in this different position you told me about, having to be somebody's parent and lead somebody, and it makes sense now, Coach.
I say it makes sense, right, and as clear as a bell right now.
Yes, I apologize for being a knucklehead. I apologize.
There it is. And this is the thing I always tell young people when they get to that route. I'm just here to save you from yourself. You don't realize what you're doing, but I'm just here to help you save you from yourself. No, Coach, I said, okay, no problem. I said, but let me just help you. And either they're going to buy into that or not.
Yeah, because it was so simple. He was telling me, I was say, Jay, the next right thing, son. You ain't got to always get somebody back or be vindictive or plan a plot on somebody. Just I'm gonna take care of them. You ain't got to do it, Coach. I was raised up. Look, I'm gonna get you back.
And hey, man, and I tell my kids this. I was watching Tyler Perry, My Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Cicely Tyson says something in it that's so eloquent to me. She says, baby, God can do far more with them than you can. Hey, so that obviously right there releases everything. So I tell my guys, man, don't get yourself into that world, because God can do more with them than you can. So you focused on, to your point, the next right thing, and let everything else fall where it may.
Yeah, like Coach, I'll tell you, Coach, it took me getting into my 30s, almost now 40s, for me to actually let it sink in.
Yeah, amen.
I truly was a work in progress until my early 30s. Trust and believe. I wasn't as refined as I am now, Coach. I promise to God I was not.
Hey,
I'm thankful I finally made it.
That's it. But you know what the good thing is? That's a box you put on the shelf, and when you can do the John Wick, whenever you're ready, you can go back and get that box. But at least you got that in you. You can go get that box off the shelf and go get it when you need to, because sometimes you need to, but you just got to know when it's time and not make that your life's work. You're right.
Yeah, because people Coach, I ain't gonna lie. My early radio career, some people who pissed me off, excuse my language.
Yeah.
I got all these airwaves and ripped them to shreds.
Hey, that's so what they say, whoever got the mic last, and I got the mic. So let's go.
Listen, hey, go to the year 13 and 14. I ain't that guy no more. And Coach, I was on the air at 2 in the morning, right?
Wow.
So I had even more latitude to say certain things.
Wow.
I worked from 2 to 7 in the morning. I had the graveyard shift.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you was free. You was what they call free balling from 2 to 7. Man, whatever was on your tongue was on that mic.
Yes. So, hey, I lit some people to straight.
There it is. That ain't nothing wrong with it.
People tune in. People just wake up and hear what I have to say about us. Gotta stop this. People are coming. Now, they don't hear my sport. They want to hear me clown people all.
Right. I like it. I love it. Ain't that nice?
Yeah. I went from 2 to 7 to 11 to 2 to weekends.
Oh my god!
Now I'm doing my own thing. So
okay.
I've definitely grown. But hey, also it's me, the deer, and the truckers.
There.
I would hang.
Hey, which ain't a bad group to hang with.
You know,
ain't a bad group.
So yeah, I'll say I'm entertaining these people at the food to say certain things. And, you know, it worked. It was shock jockism to it. It worked. It got me where I was.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, like look here. All these dudes go on radio talk junk like Jim Rome used to. I can do the same thing as a brother.
That's it.
Bring barbershop talk to like that radio. Well, early morning radio at that point.
That's it. Barbershop talk to early morning radio. I love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
You know what's so funny is that the guy came on after me. He was like, man, people tell me I'm born after coming after you. Well, brother,
hard act to follow.
I'm eccentric and I'm electric. Like I was how I am, brother. You that's just a little dry. You look. I said, brother, you Carson Banks, and I'm Jazz.
Hey man, that's it. Hey man, hey, but everybody got their lane. That's on him. He didn't carve out his own path. You know, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. I made it a tough act to follow.
You got there right, so you gotta do what I do, brother. Like you know how it is. And Coach Mitch, let me ask you, Coach Mitch, for you guys and scheduling games, man, like how's that go at your level? Having to schedule non-con games for out of CAC.
Well, here's the good thing with us is, you know, because the CAC is that independent world, we get a chance to kind of be really eclectic, if you would, to schedule some variety of games. And we have a wide variety of games, especially this year. And at Wilberforce, we've had to rebuild some relationships because in the past, you know, Wilberforce has not been that iconic in terms of how to deal with schools and how the normal thing goes in terms of showing up on times, in terms of, you know, how do you leave the place after you're done, whether you win or lose? How do you play the game in a way that is your way, but you're still respectful of everybody that you're competing against? And we've been able to repair a lot of those relationships because of the relationships that I was able to build over my career. So it's made it a little easier because like with this time, I know we got Miami of Ohio. Me and Sean Miller were really good friends, and we may end up getting a game with them. Shaka Smart and I were going to get a game with Marquette, but distance played a role in that. And you know, so with some of the people that I know and some of the relationships that I built, we've been able to do some really unique things. Like I know we come down to Clark, I want to say December the 9th. I think we're down there, but that once again, that's based off a relationship that was built. And then it's tough sometimes because our style of play makes it really scary for some people. Like we played Ashland up in Ashland, Ohio, and they're one of the top NCAA D2 teams in the country. And we go up there and we beat them on their court. And they had been undefeated. And we had beat them there. and people were like, whoa, wait a minute. So he didn't want to schedule us this year. And once again, that's a money game for us, but I get it. Then we turn around 2 days later, we beat Central State. And, so our style of play is one of those styles that can be somewhat scary. But, there are now some coaches who are really willing to open their doors so that we can continue to kind of grow our program and play some of these games to help our kids get some really unbelievable experiences. So we've done a really good job scheduling non-conference and scheduling some guarantee games. And like we tried to get with Coach Penny down at Tennessee State, because I know Ty, who's the women's coach. I know him really, really well. And Coach Penny, he never returned my call. So I guess, that we'll try to get with that a little bit next year.
Talk to him personally. You need to go talk to him. I need to go walk in his office and talk to him.
Man, we'll let him know. Let him know.
I say, my man, Coach Bitch, to holler at you, man. Wilberforce. Yeah. But I think what it could be is he's already playing fifth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be because every first game of the year is fifth.
Okay, yeah.
So that could be he didn't want to play two NAIA schools.
Yeah, well, that's his what they would call that non-D1.
Yeah.
So with the rule change like that, that's really made it tougher on, smaller schools like us to be able to schedule games like that. But to your point, you're right.
That could be that he already got that fifth game in there. He don't want to probably play 2-9, but I will trust me. I'll see you next week in Nashville. I'll be up there for the John Mayer Classic. So I will see him, and I'll be like, "Hey, bro, let's
talk to hey, man, I'm telling you, we love that opportunity because I could get my people from Memphis. They would love to come up and get some things. And me and Penny Hardaway are really good friends, and we were gonna get it. We had a situation set up with them, but they had already had too many non-D1s as well because we were gonna play Russ, and we were gonna kind of paired up with Russ, Lemoyne, and Memphis. And but some things logistically didn't work out. But those are the opportunities that we really been trying to cultivate and work on.
Well, if you ever need any help with Kennesaw State, I'm cool with Petway. I'm cool with Johns Hayes at Georgia State. I'm cool with David Stoudemire at Tech. So I can always talk to them brothers for you, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. I know the Jonas twin. I know them, the Hayes twins, really well because my uncle was the principal at Dub in Atlanta for years, and so I remember meeting them when they were still in high school, and we just kind of kept a relationship. And one of my former players is on their staff down at Georgia State, so it's a good deal though. But now we're gonna lean on it. We're gonna lean on you, my brother.
Hey, brother. Hey, look. This is a true story. I have got games done by people knowing me. That's a true story. I have arranged games by places I have with certain coaches. I've done that. It's very true. I've done that in the past.
I'm with it. Hey, guess what? We gonna lean on you. We cultivating this relationship, and we gonna lean on you, and we gonna help each other, my dude.
Yes, sir, Coach. I'm gonna tell you, Coach, before you go. When I was a kid in school, we did a project on HBCUs. What's HBCU down there do a project on? Wilberforce.
Are you serious?
Yes, wow. 4th grade.
Are you? Wow. Ain't that something? Well,
yes.
Well, they got plenty of history out there. Some of it ain't as good as it is for other schools. But nonetheless, we got a history, and we just got to embrace.
And what else we would do? We had to write a letter to each school wherever we picked, and they sent us. I got a Wilberforce flag, some pencils. So that's what we had pencils back in that kids. Pencils. And I got me a sticker to put on my wall. So yes,
yeah.
So that was my project in 4th grade. You know how many years ago was that? 30 years ago.
Ain't that something?
Because I'm 84, so that means that was 93.
Yeah.
So 30 years ago.
Man, hey man, wow.
So it's full circle now. 30 years later,
full circle. Hey, but once again, like I always say, this thing of sports makes the world smaller. So there it is.
Well, Coach Mitch, it's been fun to talk to you, my brother. I'm getting them offline, man. We can stay in contact with each other, man, and work together, man. And I'll see you at Clark on December 9th there, man. And we'll get this thing going, brother.
No doubt. I appreciate it. I'll make sure you have all my contact information. I'll email you with all of that information. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you'll see a lot of the things that we're doing with our program. Like we journal a lot. We're reading a couple books right now. So we do a lot of things that are not just that about basketball, because we're about the investment of that total kid and developing them. So follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you'll be able to see a lot of that. I'll share that with you via email here shortly.
We'll do, Coach. So fun, my brother.
All right. Likewise, man. Hey, keep doing your thing, big fella. I ain't mad at you.
No doubt. I sure will, brother.
All right, baby. Be good, man. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
All right, baby.
BS3 Network. Changing the way you watch TV.
Yes, BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV, covering content and hot topics from A to Z. Sports, music, society and culture, movie reviews. You name it, we have it. Check it out on bs3network.com or check us out on Roku, BS3 TV on Roku, as well as check out your favorite podcast on all podcast platforms or Spreaker.com/BS3 Network.
You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
What's up, good people? Bet Online is your number one source for all your betting needs. The latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. Bet Online continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, where the game starts. What's up, family? Gerald the Bossman here. You're tuned into the Bossman Show on AM 1010, AM 1430, 1055 The King. Check The King out at 105theking.com and the Bossman Show at bossmanshow.com. Hit me up on Instagram, The Bossman Show, Twitter at Bossman Show, and Facebook, Bossman Show. It's the Bossman on your radio.
Listen to The Bossman Show with your host, JR, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on AM 1010, The King.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.